Good morning, everybody. Most of you know who I am, I assume. For those of you who do not, who have just buzzed by this YouTube channel, my name is Michael. I am a double amputee. I'm traveling around Canada. How I got here is a pretty long story. We'll talk a little bit about that today. I've done this introductory video to this channel about 12 times, I think. I have the luxury, though I can do a few retakes because I can't upload anything for at least a few days because I'm at a cell phone range where I am here in beautiful British Columbia. I am parked with our school bus slash RV slash dog mobile. A cute little campsite north of Campbell River on the Discovery Passage. We are literally on the ocean. You can kind of see, get a picture of that. Yep, there's the ocean. There are the mountains. Really a beautiful place. Fascinated by the tides. Tides go in, tides go out, tides go in. It's kind of between high tide and low tide right now. Anyway, so it took us a while to get here. How long do you think it took us to get here, Randy? A couple weeks? At least?
8 months.
8 months to get here. So we took a few weeks. We took our time. The reasons we decided to do this, well, to be frank, we lost our house. We maybe made some bad financial choices, but not all completely on us. High interest rates and being overextended and so on and so forth. Knowing that we're not the first people who have been in this position is a little bit reassuring. And we also do have a bit of income, so we're not, starving, and the dogs aren't starving. So when we lost our house, we had some choices to make, or when it became apparent we had to sell, otherwise we would be foreclosed on. We had some choices to make. Do we stay in Peterborough? And that really kind of seemed like a bad idea for a number of reasons, some of which I'll get into. But mostly it was we felt it was probably going to be very difficult to find a place to rent with all our dogs, and not really being willing to put them in shelters because we had a hard time finding homes for some of them. And of course, there's some of them we desperately wanted to keep because they're part of our family, right? So it seemed kind of impossible to stay in Peterborough, so I thought, well, why don't we just move out west? But we kind of had the same problem finding a property or a place where we could stay with all our dogs. And then we kind of thought, well, why don't we do what we've always wanted to do and just travel around Canada? We had very little money left after the sale, by the way. We were kind of screwed out of some money by the mortgagors. Mortgagors? Is that the right word? Mortgage holders?
I call them worse.
Randy's called them worse. So that didn't help. We had a bit of money saved up for this eventuality anyway. So, the eventuality of losing our house. So we decided to buy this RV slash school bus, which was about all the money we had. And it's not actually, I wouldn't exactly call it living rough, but it's not fancy. It's definitely not fancy living in here. We're homeless. Well, we're not quite homeless, but we're like a step above homeless.
Homeless.
We're homeless. Molly's been infinitely interested in the neighbors' doings. I don't think the neighbors are doing anything except trying to sleep. Anyway, so that's what we did. We went through the hell of trying to get everything together in 2 months, and fortunately, I had to leave a lot of stuff behind. That was very painful. Goodwill, not Goodwill. What was the name of those people? Habitat for Humanity came and took a lot of it, which was great. But still, very painful to lose everything. Very traumatic experience, and maybe we'll talk about that some other time. What it's like to lose basically your life in a couple of months.
It was like a house fire.
Like a house fire, except worse in a way. Yeah. Anyway, and then, so there's something. So there's another reason why we. Well, at least which motivated me. Stop chewing my hat, you goofball. Yeah, I know you're cute. Who is that? That Rex? No, that's Bugsy. Bugsy! Hi, Bugsy. Say hello, Bugsy. Oh no, Rex wants to come and visit. Oh, come on. Yeah, no, don't be scratching. Randy, can you come and yell at your young dog there?
He's the boss of the place?
She's the boss. Alright, that's Rex there. Say hello, Rex. Yeah, get away. Anyway, another reason why I wanted to do this, other than seeing Canada, is a reason some of you probably won't want to hear or don't want to hear. Being sort of science-based, I looked up. Oh, shit. Just spilled coffee on myself. I looked up in the medical journals, went through PubMed. If you know what PubMed is, good for you. If you don't worry about it.
It's like Club Med.
Like Club Med, except for
no exercise.
there's no exercise. It's like Club Med without the booze. You wish you had drunk. You wish you were drinking, actually, using PubMed. So PubMed is actually the big research database, links to all sorts of academic journals and articles, and you do a search and da. Probably has been cut by Trump. I haven't looked lately. I think Trump probably slashed it, because why would people need access to research in a world run by RFK? Anyway, so I went through the academic journals and looking for one thing, and looking for life expectancy after amputation. Big, heavy, deep topic. And my friends, I'm sorry to tell you, it isn't great. So I think that's pretty good motivation not to stay in Peterborough and rot. Because what's the point, right? I mean, I guess we could have played it safe and rented an apartment in Peterborough, and I could have just, how would you say, just sat there for the whatever time I have left here. That had about as much appeal as, I don't know, waiting for a garbage dump. Waiting for Godot. So that's pretty strong motivation. So I think the first purpose of doing this is to let my friends and family know how I'm doing, and going across country. I'll talk about my experiences traveling across Canada with no legs and too many dogs, and a barky dog named Molly. Molly, what do you do, Muddy? And talk about Canada itself and what it means to be Canadian, and which seems to be a pretty big topic right now. Try not to talk about politics, even though it's very hard. Try not to talk about the big orange ball downstairs because I don't know. I start thinking about him and I just kind of get all apocalyptic. Um, but yeah, I think that's really about it. Purpose of this channel. Um, Talk about what it means to be disabled in Canada. One thing I have to say is that my mobility is pretty limited right now. I'm trying to get better at it. It's hard, so you can follow me with that journey. But Peterborough is just terrible for disabled people. And you don't realize it until you actually are disabled. You think, oh, well, it's just a little curb you have to get over. Well, it's not that easy. Going down George Street in Peterborough was just one hellish thing. Between the ruts and the dips and the cracks in the pavement, and it's terrible. Anyway, so here we are, Vancouver Island. Beautiful spring morning. It was very beautiful coming into southwest interior BC because spring is here with a vengeance. It was very cool coming over the mountains into Osoyoos, BC, which is quite close to the border. Has a desert climate, which is very cool. But coming into this town, all the cherry trees were blooming. It's just like, wow, very cool. Here in Campbell River, everything is blooming, everything is budding out. But I can see the coast mountains, a little bit of the coast mountains here, and there's still snow on top of them, which is wild to me. So our journey was quite fun. It was kind of a mad dash, latter part of winter across most of Canada. We started at my sister's where the weather was great. It's like 18 degrees, I think, the day we left. Quickly ran into snow in around Parry Sound District. Spent our first night on the road off at a rest stop near Parry Sound. That was a bit weird and interesting. Our first night out, Brandy.
Where?
Off near Parry Sound, where we stopped at that rest stop. With all the trucks whizzing by. And it was cold, it was snowing, and then we got to Sault Ste. Marie, where we had our first issue with the truck, with the intake valve. Oh, no, not intake valve, intake hose.
It's a bus.
It's a bus, yes. I keep calling it the truck.
It's a bus.
It's a bus. Betsy the bus. With the intake hose, air intake, which caused the bus not to accelerate very easily. So that took a bit to fix, a couple days to fix.
Our bus of canine children.
Our bus of canine children. People there were quite nice to help us get it fixed, but ended up spending 2 days in the Walmart parking lot, which is interesting to say the least. Now, the thing I got to say about the bus is that we bought it, and previously the previous owners were these guys who were traveling around the country as reporters for an outfit called Druthers, Druthers. And so there's signs on the bus saying Druthers. Peace, love, and harmony. Peace, love, and what does it say? Peace, love, truth. So I don't know, something like that.
Truth, love, peace, freedom.
Truth, love, peace, and freedom. Anyway, so look, I'll let you. I won't provide the link. You can look it up if you're interested. But they're just a bunch of wackos. I think that's maybe the kindest thing. Huh?
That's awful.
That's awful, I'm being told. Okay, they're not wackos. There are
Concerned citizens.
Concerned citizens of the far right variety. um, anyway, so they are, I don't know, they're anti-vaxxers, and when Trudeau resigned, they it's like a little free newspaper, I guess they distribute all over the place. I've never seen it physically. I did look it up. When Trudeau resigned, the paper headlined "The Demise of Tyranny," which you kind of want to say in a big solemn voice. The demise of tyranny, tyranny, tyranny. Now, I think if you think Canada is a tyrannical place, I think I'd have some dictators I'd love to introduce you to. Anyway, so people have been coming up to us and say, "Oh, I really like your publication." It's like, Jesus Christ. But someone gave Randy $15, which is kind of cool. She said, "Spend it on dog food." Okay. He tried to explain that we weren't who she thought we were, but she still insisted on giving us $15. Anyway, Randy's order of business while we're staying here at beautiful Elk Bay, British Columbia, is to, I think, spray paint those signs so they're not bothered and people don't think we're anti-vax or lunatics. And sorry if I offended any anti-vaxxers out there. That's tough.
Or right-wingists or wackos or...
Yeah. We spent quite a lot of time traveling across northern Ontario, and it kind of freaks you out. You don't realize how big Ontario is until you try to get out of it. I mean, it takes you. I mean, we had some delays, obviously, but it probably took us about 3 days to drive across, Ontario to get to Manitoba. It was just like, wow. And 8 hours to drive around Lake Superior. That's how big Lake Superior is. It's phenomenal. Anyway, scenery north of Superior was spectacular. Highly recommend seeing it, even in the winter. It was great. Lots of low hills and big views and mountains even. I think the highest elevated place in Ontario is kind of along the North Shore. Thunder Bay. Well, actually, before we got to Thunder Bay, we had a problem with one of our tires blew out, so freak.
It's just flapping a little bit.
Just flapping. We're driving along. We have like dual wheels on the back. And we were in this town. I don't think, what was it called? It wasn't Dryden, but it was the town before Dryden. I forget what it was called. I just lost it. Wawa. Was it Wawa? Maybe it was Wawa. Anyway, and the thing was with this tire was that we had bought the premium CAA membership for RVs for this very eventuality that we get a flat tire or be stuck somewhere remote, like in Wawa.
Boo, CAA.
Which amazingly had 4 tire repair places, but none of them were open.
Can't help you right now.
Yeah, the first place we went to, a guy came up in a wife beater shirt and said, I can't help you right today. You normally could, but I just can't. And he shut the door. Second place wasn't open because he wasn't going to be in Dryden or Wawa that day. He was just gone. He was out. He was a bit weird, man. Third place didn't answer their call, or their call went to, this number is not in service. Randy finally found a fourth guy who would do it, but didn't have the tire. So we found a guy in Dryden who would do it. And so the problem was trying to get the bus to Dryden because we couldn't drive. It was another hour down the road. And so we said, okay, well, we'll call CAA. They'll go get us a tow, right? So we called, and apparently under their terms of service,
which they failed to tell you.
Of course, everybody reads those terms of service. that they don't cover RVs, or that have been turned in, or no, school buses that have been turned to RVs. So we're basically SOL. We called them to come out to fix the tire because we reckoned getting towed to Dryden was going to be too much money. That was like $450. That was a lot of money to get that done. And then there's the tire change on top of it, getting a new tire. So basically we're out $1,000 for that little experience. Really pissed off. Not so much about the fact that we lost like $400. So we did call them eventually and say, look, what are you doing, you dog? Who is that on top of me?
A little pug.
Charles, what are you doing? Anyway, got the tire fixed, went on our merry way. Next stop was Thunder Bay. Thunder Bay is, we didn't see a lot of it. Treated very nicely by a guy who fixed our generator. I should maybe next video I do get a list of the people who are helpful. If any of the 10 people who are going to subscribe to this channel are up that way. Fixed our generator, small engine repair guy, lovely guy. Thunder Bay itself, I don't know whether we saw enough of it other than kind of say there's lots of, oh man, lots of empty space in Thunder Bay. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. It struck me kind of as a bit of a dump, but weird town. I mean, they have this beautiful highway going into Thunder Bay, and it's oriented, it's called Memorial Road or Memorial Boulevard or something like that. Obviously named after the Second World War soldiers, and it's oriented so that it points directly at the Sleeping Giant, which is, as you know, is this low mountain that's across Thunder Bay from the actual town of Thunder Bay.
Window up because they're trying to jump out.
You're fine.
Fine. You go after them.
I'll go after them if they jump out. Just sticking their head out. But the thing is with this road is that it's like, you know, I think it was designed to do that, right? To be this kind of magnificent road going down to, I guess, where the downtown is. But it's all like car lots and Walmarts and big box stores. Now there's a dog farting. Who is farting? Or is that you?
Not me.
Anyway. So that's what is that? That you?
No. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I mean, what could have been a really beautiful road is just basically ugliness. Sorry, Thunder Bay. Kenora seemed like a nice town. The other really weird thing about traveling Canada at the end of March, beginning of April, mostly everything is still like winter. I mean, you drive through northern Ontario and it's just winter, like high snow banks. And you just think winter is never going to end, even though you know in a month the trees will be budding out. Anyway, Manitoba is pretty flat. The only cool thing about Manitoba in the winter is that you drive out of the forest, like literally drive out of the forest into the prairie. In about a kilometer. The forest just stops. And then suddenly you're in the prairie. And it is so flat. I mean, for an Ontario boy used to rolling hills, it is flat. It is really, really flat. I can't say how flat it is. It's just flat.
How flat is it?
Stopped in Brandon I think, was that a parking lot or a Walmart? I think that was a Walmart. Made great use of Walmarts in traveling across the prairies. First part of Alberta was flat. I liked Alberta though. Alberta was kind of cool. I enjoyed Alberta. I skipped Saskatchewan because, again, flat. Except for the southwest corner, which has had these kind of weird rolling hills. But still, it was like flat. It's hard to describe. Anyway, southern Alberta, more interesting. I liked Alberta a lot, actually. It surprised me. You go past Lethbridge and Fort Macleod, and suddenly you're just seeing mountains in the distance. It's just like they just come out of nowhere. And then you're in the foothills, and then you're in the Rockies themselves, and that was the rest of the drive to the coast is spectacular. And I'll probably share some of that footage later. But it was great. It was really, really nice. And then we got to, we stayed in some little rocky mountain towns or interior towns of British Columbia. They have these things called recreational sites in British Columbia, which I didn't even know about till we actually arrived. And they're like little tiny free campgrounds. So we stayed in a few of those. There's some lovely ones that we stayed at in the interior near Penticton and Osoyoos, and we stayed there. We just stayed there for a little bit because it was just so nice. So wasted some days there. Then we went to another one or looked for another one, but the one, oh yeah, there was a funny story about us. Our first one we tried getting to was called Idleback Lake near Penticton, and we thought, okay, well, it's a bit elevated, so we went up this road, kept going up and up and up and up and up and up, and it got colder, and colder and colder and colder. And then we started seeing snow on the side of the roads, and we started seeing snow on the road. And we thought, okay, we'll do a little bit of winter camping, and then we'll come back down. And we got to the site, and we couldn't even get in because it was blocked with snow. So we had to find it. And then we found this other site, which was much nicer. But it was quite funny that it was just packed in snow. Is that milk still good?
Yep.
So where we're staying is actually a wreck site on Vancouver Island. I think that's really all I have to say right now. I'm going to upload this. I apologize to any of my friends we didn't get to see before I left, but really we just had to leave, and everything was just so overwhelming. Much more relaxed. Probably going to stay here for at least a couple more days before we decide where we want to go and what to do. We want to get some stuff done in the RV while we're here before we go up north, and that's the other thing. We are planning to go to the Yukon later on in the spring, probably around the end of May-ish. Depending on a friend says she wants to join us, and you know who you are, because no doubt you'll be watching this. So depending on what she wants to do and how she wants the time, but we got some time to kind of tool around Vancouver Island, which is fine. I don't mind it at all. Only thing I find discouraging is the wreck sites near Tofino are all closed right now, which is really annoying. I would love to spend more time around Tofino. Anyway, we'll go south towards Victoria, hang out in Victoria for a while. I don't know. We're just really flexible right now. And I actually kind of like pitching camp for a few days like this because it gives me time to work on my novel, which I think most of you are aware I'm writing. We're working on the second draft of it anyway. Getting work done aplenty doing this. And holy crap, I've been talking for almost half an hour straight. You know that, Randy?
Oh, yeah.
Don't be smart. Randy's going to get a fishing license and a fishing pole and see what we can catch us some dinner. I'd like to see, I want to get some salmon. We didn't get to, I wanted to get some in Port Campbell River, but the places we went to was closed, unfortunately. There's other places to buy fresh fish though here. And that's really about it. Hang out. Enjoy this beautiful country as much as possible. And for now, I'll sign off. I'm going to maybe try to post some video with this, but we'll see if I can figure out how to get the video editor to work. Anyway, cheers. Cheers. Peace, love, truth.
Freedom.
Freedom. My new motto. Peace, love,
God.
truth, freedom. See ya. Bye.